Hello everyone. So today we are going to take our aim assist system one step further by determining the closest enemy to the reticle here and targeting to that character. Let me play again. I don't want to others to interfere with me, so I'm not visible to them. Now here, if I keep the reticle in the middle and if I right click, the enemy who is closest to the reticle in a 2D space will be automatically aimed. If I keep my reticle closer to this guy, even though my multi-sphere trace detect both enemies through the line trace, it will determine who is closest and automatically target like this. So it also considers the point in the body as well. Now if I aim in a point like this, it goes to the middle of the closest character, like that. Okay, and just for testing purposes I have disabled their AIs, that's why they are not responding, but these guys have AI, so they are moving. Okay, so that's what we are going to work on today. And before we get started, let me remind you that you can download the project files of this project and all other thousands of projects that you see in my channel from my Patreon page. Once you become a member, you can download all those things without any limits. So, and you can use them in your games. So feel free to check it out. I'll leave the link in description below. And this tutorial series contains how I have implemented all the features in this tutor project, everything from scratch. So you can follow this and implement everything as I have done here. So this, I think this is the most complete shooter tutorial series in the YouTube, so you can watch all of them for free. So I'll leave the link to the playlist in the description below. Right, now let's look into how to do this improvement to our aim assist system. So right now, if I equip a weapon and aim, you can see the aim assist system can automatically aim to the closest aiming point of the character. So you can see it in action here. But if I have two enemies that might overlap with the trace that I am using in order to do the aim assist, it might be a bit confusing depending on the angle of them. So here, if I place them, let me place them in a bit tricky situation. So if I do it like this, now here I am aiming to this closest one, but even if I am aiming at this guy, still my aim assist system targeting the closest one, and that's something I want to avoid. So ideally what needs to happen is, if we just consider this scenario, so let's say this is where my aim is currently at, and when I right click, I should be automatically aimed into the closest aiming point of the two characters in a 2D space. That means here, let me explain. If I get a screenshot, wait, how do I get a screenshot? Okay, okay, here is a screenshot. So if we consider this as a 2D image, I should measure distances to the closest aiming point. That means either the middle of the character or the head. Those are the two things that my system will be automatically aiming. So we need to consider this distance let me use this distance and this distance, and out of these two distances I should consider the closest one and aim to the closest point, closest actor. That means this guy. So how do we do that in the game? Through the code. Right now what happens is not exactly what I needed. Okay, so the way to do that is, let me explain it with an image. So consider this scenario. Let me take a screenshot from this view. Like this. Let me detach myself. Oh, someone is shooting, but it's alright. So I just need a screenshot like this. Okay, now let's take this here. Right, now if when I do the trace, the center line of the trace would be something like this. I'm not doing a line trace, I'm doing a sphere trace, but still the center line would be something like this. And then what I need to do is my tracing, my multi-sphere tracing system detects both of these actors, and from this what I need to do is identify this perpendicular distance from both characters. Perpendicular means the shortest distance to this line from these two characters, closest aiming points. That means either head or the middle of the character. And then I need to find the closest one from these two, and the actor that has the closest distance should be targeted by the aim assist system. So to do that, here we can get this point's world space location. Let's just say that is, let me see, V1, and here I do have the forward vector, but in order to get this distance, this perpendicular distance from this point to this point, I can get the right vector of the camera because I'm using the camera's forward for the trace. And then if I say R for the right vector of the camera, I can get this distance doing a vector that represents this line and a dot product with R. So if I say this line is P, then this distance would be P dot R, and we need to consider the absolute value. That would be the distance of from this line to this point, and we can do the same for the other character as well. Then we can figure out who is the closest to the center line. Alright, hope it's clear. So now let's go back to the engine, and my aim assist logic is in this ALS and in man character blueprint. So right now what I'm doing is, this is as of the previous episode, I just get the first hit from this and then get the auto envelope question. I don't consider any other hits, but that's not the way I want to do now. So if I re-enable debug types, here you will see come back, otherwise this guy starts detecting me and starts shooting at me. Okay, here, see, now you can see in the debug mode there are too many dots, which represents all the hits, but I need to get only one hit. I need to get reference and do the calculation per each character only once. I don't need to consider all those dots, all those hits that I get from here. So to do that, let me just put this aside for now. Break, and then let me break this again. No, I just need to break this. Wait, no, we need to run a for each loop. And then break this. Then we can access the actor. So we are in a function. This is a assist function. Therefore, we can have local variables. So I'll add the new local variable. Let's call it hit actors, and this should be in the type of actor object reference, and this has to be an array. So here, if when I cycle through these hits, first I'll check if I already have, no, let me do it this way. Here I'll add unique. So by using this add unique, only one element of this, only one reference per this actor will be there in this array. Even if I add it 2 times, there will not be 2 references, 2 instances of the array. So that's actually not necessary. Right, I'm gonna do this, but before that I'm gonna check if this array already contains this actor. The reason is because of I get multiple hits per actor, I need to avoid doing the calculation multiple times for the same actor. So I need to do only once. So that's why I'm basically using this array to keep track of the actors that I have already calculated the distances to. So here, if we don't have this actor within this array, then I need to do the calculation, the distance calculation. And how do we do that? Like this. I'm just tidying up as I go. So first I need to determine this vector, p vector, and we already know p1, this point, because we have we can actually get the location using this get, what's the function we defined here, this get auto aim location. Yeah, get auto aim location, and here we can give oops, I only meant to do this. Here we can give this location, press location, and then this is basically this p1. We have that, and if I subtract this location from the camera location, that means we can get it like this: get player camera manager, get camera location. I'll do that here. I don't want to have a long, right? So here we basically have this vector. Okay, now we need to do a dot product between this vector P and this R, which is right vector of the camera. So get camera rotation. I don't think I have the right vector. We have the actor right vector, but I'm not 100% sure this camera manager transform and the camera transform is the same. So to be safe, I'll use this get right vector. Okay, and do the dot product. Now here we get the distance, basically this distance, but this could be either a positive value or a negative value, because if we consider this character, the right vector is this way but the character is this way, so this distance is going to be negative. But we are only concerned about the magnitude right now, so I'll get the absolute value. And then we need to check if this is less than whoever the current closest actor's distance. Right now we don't have anything because we are doing it for the first time, but as we iterate through all the actors, then we need to have something. So I'll add a new variable, just a variable, the type of float. I'll call it closest actor distance, and for the default value I'll put something huge, so that whatever the first guy that we calculate the distance to will be the closest one. So then if I'll check if this distance is less than the current closest actor distance. If this is true, that means we have a new closest actor. So right now we don't really need to keep a reference to the closest actor, because we only need to return this rotation. We only need to find this location. So I'll add a new vector variable, a vector. I'll call it aim location. Well, no. Closest aim location, and I'll set this with the value I get from here, and also I'll update this closest distance with the value I get from here. So next time when we can calculate the distance to the other actor, we can find out who is the closest. If the distance we get for the next actor is less than this one, then we will update the closest aim location and the distance with the data from that actor. Okay, now once we finish this loop, we don't really need these anymore. We can return this, and as the target I can use closest aim location. Now by default we have 0 here, but in case we don't get any hits, there is a chance that we will return 0 as the auto aim location. We need to avoid that. So therefore, as the default value of this closest aim location, I'll put this, the original actual target location we get from the character. So closest aim location, I'll put it, initialize it with that. Okay, that should do it. Let's test. Here now we should be auto aiming when I right click. to the actor on the right, like that. Working. And if I do this, left. Okay, let's try. Yeah. Okay. So in the middle, we were the closest. Oh yeah, we are close. This guy's mid is closer than this guy, I guess. Now this guy. Okay. So now it's not confused. It gets the naturally closest character. So now let me remove this trace debug type so that we can see things clearly. Right. So I moved before shooting. We have recoil even though we have. Okay. And I have intentionally disabled their AI systems, that's why they are not responding to the threats. But if I enable that, they will hear the sound and start attacking me. Okay, these guys heard me, so they are already coming through. Okay, alright, that's all I want to do today. Maybe next time let's look into how to keep the aim assist system stick to a target if the target is moving, maybe for a shorter period of time, just to make things easier for the player. So thanks for watching. As always, updated project files will be available for download in the Patreon page, link would be in the description below. And if you like to support my work, consider getting the membership. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and see you in another episode. Goodbye.